I feel like Mary Shelley was like, I'm tired of reading books about these like men going off to college and having affairs and bastard children. And I want to do something a little bit different.
Let's just mix it up a little bit.
And I love it. Well, hey there.
Hello, y'all.
Welcome to Edging,
a podcast about books and other things.
Other things. Our last Patreon episode made us also a podcast a little bit about reality TV.
Yes.
Which
whoo.
It was, I can't stop thinking about it. It was a doozy. If you want to hear about some of the most depraved reality content I have ever encountered, second or firsthand, you should check us out on Patreon.
Oh, yeah. I truly believe that there is a layer of hell for TLC executives and everything.
Yeah, and I feel like you always hear about the producers, right? But I'm like, for me, it's the people at the top.
Yeah.
Like any pyramid scheme.
Oh, yeah. I watched a documentary about the Jerry Springer show.
Oh, my God. You told me. I think about that all the time.
His producers, like, one of them just straight up quit in the middle of, he had set up, it's awful. He had set up a meeting, a father and daughter who were like, in love, quote unquote, or something. Mm-hmm. And, they set him up in a hotel room and everything like that. And he goes by the hotel room and, like, it's the dad's hotel room and the daughter's in there.
Yeah.
And he just, like, he said he just turned around and he never went back to work again.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't call and be like, fuck you, I'm quitting. Here's why. He's like, I just literally turned around.
I feel like we have to reckon as a society with our relationship with this kind of media, because it's really easy after the fact to be like, I can't believe these people worked on those shows. And it's like, you watched it.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I watch it.
We all have something to like really, I think, examine about ourselves.
One girl got fired because there's the Springer Triangle, which is these like certain cities, but it's essentially the like Midwest/South, and it's where almost every single Jerry Springer contestant was from.
Oh, yeah.
We live in it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it like corresponds pretty well with the Bible Belt.
Yeah. And this one woman said that it was like a brother-in-law and a sister, like that were in a love affair, and they were going to confront each other. And she's like, I shouldn't have trusted it because they were from Boston.
Oh, yeah.
But she was like, I had to get so many guests per season, so many of this. So she was like, I was run ragged, so I just bring these people in. And you could tell on camera it's a fake punch that one of the guys gives the other one. Wow. They just wanted to be on TV, and she was immediately fired.
Wow.
After working there for years.
That is everything about it is just so wild.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
And it's a lot of the producers, they're like, we're not trying to get anybody to forgive us.
Yeah.
But it also sucked. Like, they're like, we got our karma while it was happening.
Yeah. I mean, it's a whole complicated. I know somebody who's worked on some different reality shows like Love Island and stuff like that. And it's hard. It's a job.
Yeah.
You're at work, and there's a time at which you have to quit your job, but it's really easy when you're not in it to like make judgments about when that should be. Especially because, like, we live in a society where you tell somebody you work on something like that and they're like, oh, that's a good gig. Like, you've broken into the industry. You got this great job. And when you're like, I think it's draining my soul, that people are like, well, that's work.
Yeah.
Ha, 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 ha. Like...
Yeah, and it's very like when you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's tough to be like, I'm going to quit my job. But also when you're no longer living paycheck to paycheck after living paycheck to paycheck for so long, it's also hard to quit your job.
I feel like this is a thing where it comes down to like the enemy is always not actually this person who really is like, we are a lot closer to, quote unquote, middle class people who are paycheck to paycheck than we are to these billionaires.
Yeah.
I think a lot about that graph where it shows like, where like the Kardashians and then like Kanye West are compared to like us, and then it shows where like my hand is off screen, like where like Bill Gates is, and like most of the billionaires you've never even heard of. They're people you would not know because they know better.
I was gonna say, because most of them are smart enough to know like I shouldn't be loud about this.
Yeah.
Those other guys are getting a lot of hate.
Yeah. And it'll be a lot easier for me to just be really quiet. And you're just like, you live in a totally different world.
Yeah.
And the rest of us really do just kind of live in this world. And we have to try to take care of each other best we can. But I think that whole arc on like The Good Place, no spoilers, is pretty concise, where I'll just say that like in this show that's about what happens to you after you die, this realization that no one can go to, like, no one can be morally right in the world that we live in now. Like, you can't, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, right? Like, how would you do that? Anyway, that was a cool start. Feeling frisky.
It does kind of go into what we're talking about.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So we are going to do volume 1 of the, I believe it's 3 volumes of Frankenstein.
I was today years old when I realized there were 3 volumes.
Yes.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've thought about reading this a lot recently because I think Mary Shelley's really interesting.
Yeah. She's so interesting.
I had no idea there were 3 books.
So, well, it's 1 book, but it's 3.
Okay.
It's divided into 3 sections.
Cool.
And we're going to go through the first section.
Cool.
And it's one of those books that the story is very popularly in the zeitgeist. Like, everybody knows of Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember reading it in high school, and I remember liking it, but it's one of those things, so much has happened since then, I did not remember a single part of the book.
Yeah.
So then I decided to reread the book because the movie came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the movie was really good, but all of it definitely made me think of how, and I saw a meme that was like the picture of this dude interviewing David Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
In it, David Lynch is like, I think, and then you could put in your own thing because it's a meme, and it's like, I think Frankenstein is about being a woman, and then the reporter's like, oh, could you elaborate on that? And then David Lynch is like, no.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't want to. But I really do connect with that.
Yeah.
And especially to think that this was not only written by a woman, I think she was like 19 or 20 when she wrote it. I know she was young. And she had also experienced the loss of her mother. Mm-hmm. Her mom died like of sepsis or something after giving birth to her. God. One of those things. And she had also she'd lost a kid. I don't know if it was stillborn or miscarriage.
That's rough.
With her partner, who was a lot older than her. She met him through her dad.
Cool.
And then years after she died, because she outlived him, of course. Years after she died, they found his like preserved heart in her desk.
Wow.
Which is her. Yeah. Like hate the age gap, but like girl.
Good. Like, yeah, like I love that you had that for you.
What was her husband's name? She's named Mary Shelley, of course. Her husband was Percy Shelley.
Okay.
She was the daughter of a guy. Her father was a writer, and her mom was a writer and feminist.
Okay.
And wrote a lot of like feminist theory and stuff.
Yeah.
But Frankenstein is what she wrote, and I didn't know this originally, but when it was originally Frankenstein or the modern Prometheus, when it was originally written, it didn't have her name attributed to it.
I think I knew that.
So, like, for a while, it was not attributed to a woman. Mm-hmm. And it was like 1818 when the first copy came out. So, like, that's probably why.
Yeah, I mean...
More difficult.
I feel like we're really critical of feminists from the past. And, you know, we should be, but it's really important to contextualize the world they live in. Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of contextualization with this book and the characters. Mm-hmm. Like, one could argue that the characters are written like a man wrote them, but I think it's because, well, I'll get into my theories. But it also reminds me of, so I was thinking, because after I got done reading the book, I was like, damn, this is like, you can tell why it's considered one of the greats, you know? But it also had me thinking about S.E. Hinton, the writer of The Outsiders.
Okay.
So S.E. Hinton, let me see how old. S.E. Hinton is Susan Eloise, but she didn't want to go by that. But she was 16, 17 when she wrote The Outsiders. And that's one of the things that really resonated with a lot of people about that book, is a lot of teenagers were like, finally, it's something written for us, about us, that actually seems like it's us.
Yeah.
And weirdly enough, with Frankenstein, I kind of get that vibe, even though I don't think it could have been marketed at the time to be for women.
Yeah.
I do think it's, especially like as I age.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you get into your 30s, you start considering like, am I going to have kids?
Yeah.
Like and then you think a lot more on the relationships you've had with your parents.
Yeah.
The reflection of how girly pop Frankenstein is.
That makes sense to me because I'm obviously, even though I haven't read the book, I'm really familiar with the story. And something I think about a lot because we work in horror, and I don't know, I feel like it's pretty impossible to be a person who just has like no relationship with horror. It's like this huge genre of media. And there's like so many ways to be a woman and like exist as a woman and identify as a woman in the world, but they're all inherently traumatic and horrific. Like there will be horrible, horrible things. And I think it makes so much sense to me that these really young women were writing these experiences and these stories were flowing out of them because like, I don't think I know a girly who isn't like, they might be like, I don't like horror. And then they'll be like, here's the most fucked up story you've ever heard. It's my favorite. Like,
yeah. You kind of said something akin to it the other day is you said, you know, that you don't engage with a ton of horror, but a psychological thriller you'll eat for breakfast. And the thing about it is somebody pointed out one time that psychological thrillers are more often than not horror targeted for women.
Well, I mean,
or written by women.
It's a meme, right? Like that a lot of women enjoy things like Law & Order SVU.
Yeah.
And my favorite take on that I ever heard was actually from a play that I was in, Dying City, post 9/11 play. And one of the characters is like obsessed with watching Law & Order after you sort of realize like her husband was in Iraq and then he kills himself. And it's not clear he's killed himself, but the play is her and his twin brother. So like kind of dealing with the grief and stuff. And his twin brother also plays his brother from the past. So like this whole thing is happening and it's like devastating. It's really good. But one of the lines that she has, it's something like this where like, I think the reason that women like things like Law & Order SVU is because there's like, they always catch the bad guy.
Yeah.
The story always has an end. And in real life, that almost never happens.
Yeah.
There's not really closure in life. Not like that.
Yeah. In this, I remember one time when we were talking about Frankenstein, when I was telling you I was reading it, you were like, it's so cool that she like invented sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so, after I got done reading the book again, I was like, it's just amazing that like, not only a woman, but a girl did this because she's so young. But we're going to get into the first volume of the book, Frankenstein, the Modern Prometheus. And I will be covering the other ones too.
Ooh.
I just decided to go with this one first. This one is more of the story I feel like everybody's familiar with.
Okay.
So there's not a lot here that I'll be saying that's probably surprising. But, you know, I have a couple like thoughts and stuff of it. So one of the things that a lot of people I think don't know is that the story of Frankenstein is bookended by these letters of from this man to his sister Margaret.
Okay.
So this man is the captain of a boat that's in the Arctic.
Okay.
And he's wanting to go where no man's gone before, you know. He's wanting to secure his legacy. And he's with a bunch of, you know, young people, young men that agreed to do this with him. Mm-hmm. You know, he put out a call and they're all in the Arctic knowing it could go really bad, but they're wanting to do what nobody's done before.
Okay.
The crew find a man stuck in the ice and they invite him on board. And the captain really quickly develops a friendship with this man. Mm-hmm. He's like, I have nobody on this boat that feels like me. And, you know, I'm just so very lonesome sister. Like, I miss you. It's just nobody is like me on this boat. Mm-hmm. And I'm the only one who thinks this way. And it's like, I get it. But also at the same time, like, you drug a bunch of people out to the Arctic.
You could have picked people you like better. Yeah.
But he's looking for somebody who has the same sort of feel as him. Uh-huh. And I guess that feel is to go to, to just be so driven to something that you'll go to the end of the earth.
Right.
And he finds that with this man that they found in the ice. And that man is Victor Frankenstein. Okay. And he is telling the captain his life story. Okay. So basically the captain's like, what you doing out here? He's like, we're trying to do this. We're trying to be like, what do they call it?
Like explorers?
Explorers. He's like, we're trying to be explorers. And he's like, I have a fucking mission.
It's literally like record scratch. And he's in the ice like, I bet you're wondering how I got here.
But he's like, I need to tell you how this happened. Yeah. And of course, like all the stories do, it's like, I have to go back to the beginning. So he starts with like his parents. His parents were Alphonse and Caroline.
That's fucking crazy to do. I want to call that out and say that's
I'm glad that you brought this up because and the thing about it is it's crazy to do. I feel like I have sometimes done it.
Yeah, me too.
It's insane, but it's like you're asked a question, how did you end up in the middle of all this ice in the Arctic where we all are probably going to die? And he's like, for that, I'll have to go back. And it's like, you really don't.
And I think here's the thing for me is like, I'm famous for burying the lead. Like, I love it. Yeah. I'll be like, we will tell, it'll take a long time. It's crazy to me that you would do it linearly because that's so premeditated. Like, you've just been sitting there like, I'll start with my parents and like literally when I was born.
And I feel like, because I'm also now reading Wuthering Heights because I never read it.
It's boring, right?
It's boring-ish, but it's very similar with Frankenstein. Like, it's bookended this way. Like, you have the tenant, and the tenant is figuring out the story from the maid, and and these.
It's also like The Great Gatsby's like that.
Yeah, and you have to go back to the beginning, and I get it, and I don't want to fault the classics for doing that.
I'm like Citizen Kane. Yeah. And also like Lolita. I mean, it's a very popular style.
It's a very older way to get us to where we are now. I feel like now we have you just kind of get thrown into a story and you find out things throughout the way. It's less linear.
Do you know what it feels like? It feels like when someone wants to do an audio drama and they get really, I think this can be done well. Just to say this, I think books like this can be written well, and I think that stories like this can be done really well. But it's sort of like in an audio drama or something like Blair Witch where they're like, but where's the microphone? Yeah. Where's the camera? Yeah. And then people are like, how do I know this story? And I think that is a valid way to tell a story. But I think sometimes it's sort of a stylistic thing where everyone just sort of thinks you have to know the person that story happened to.
Yeah. And it's just also it would be insane to ask someone a question and they're like, I have to tell you about how my parents met. Yeah. And it's like, no, you really don't.
I mean, and I guess I'll buy it because I don't know a lot about this story, but I know this guy's a fucking freak. Yeah. So I mean,
it's definitely Bible. It's just one of those things that it's interesting to see the way storytelling has changed as well.
And I mean, they didn't have TV. Yeah. So it is so important. I guess I would feel really remiss if we didn't talk about the idea of oral traditions. And the way we pass stories around, which we still do, even if we do it I mean, that's what we're literally talking about stories that we read. Yeah. on this show.
Yeah.
I take it all back. I'm fucking wrong. Mary Shelley knew what she was doing.
I was going to say, it's an older way of doing things, but you're right. So much of, I feel like we write a lot today affected by the fact we take in TV and other forms of media that weren't around here. Right now with Wuthering Heights, I'm not bored by it. I will say right now, and this could be super laughable, I'm kind of on Heathcliff's side.
Yeah. I don't know. All I know is, what's that bitch's name with the song?
Kate Bush.
Kate Bush. I fucking like that song.
Oh, yeah. I've been bumping it.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I'm like, y'all are being really racist towards this kid.
But you know how it always happens, I feel like, is that in old stories like this, you'll be like, everyone is being really racist. And I don't know Wuthering Heights, so I don't know if this is the case in this. But then you'll see that when this character that you've had sympathy for gets any power, they're super misogynist.
See,
and
I'm
you're
starting
like,
to wonder if that's going to happen because everybody's like, oh, Heathcliff is the toxic boyfriend and stuff. But right now I'm like, he seems like an angry, orphaned child who is of a different race, is physically different than everybody around him in this more well-to-do family. It seems like they're old money. They don't have money like right now, but they still have an estate and servants.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, and he feels alone and he's being left alone.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of like, it's great in that it is actually how life works. Like people hurt people. Nobody who is out there being really fucking evil had like a good childhood.
Yeah.
Like it's not like chill. They like don't have any friends and they can't even buy them, Elon Musk. So like
I was thinking of Elon Musk too.
Yeah,
he's just
so
such a fucking loser.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's Victor Frankenstein.
Ugh. God, that's so true.
He thinks that he
absolutely, especially with his fucking creepy, like needing to sow his seed bullshit. That's just another flavor of Victor Frankenstein.
So speaking of the Frankensteins, Alphonse and Caroline are his parents.
Okay.
Alphonse was significantly older than Caroline, and he looked out for her when her dad, his friend, died. Okay. So they met through his dad, kind of like Mary and Percy?
Yeah, you said Percy.
Yeah, I always forget her husband's name. He's just not as important to me. But they got married and soon after had Victor. While on a trip to Italy, the family's going to Italy.
Okay.
The Frankensteins are talking with a poor family, and they notice a little blonde girl amongst everyone else with dark hair.
Okay.
And it turns out she's a half-German orphan that the Italian family took in after her parents died, but they can't afford to feed her, so Alphonse and Caroline take the girl in. Her name is Elizabeth, and they bring her back to Geneva.
Okay.
And Caroline decides that when Elizabeth and Victor are older, they'll get married.
Even though they're being kind of like raised as siblings, I assume?
Yes, and they refer to her as his cousin. But,
well, then it's fine.
But she's like being raised as a little sister. I also think it's so funny to imagine like you walk into this house and everybody has dark hair and there's a little blonde girl and they're like, we have to save her.
Yeah.
But also it's definitely like my family because I had one blonde aunt on each side. Yeah. Like my parents had tons of siblings, all like brown and black hair. Mm-hmm. And then there'd always be like this one blonde sister with lighter eyes who would just get mercilessly bullied.
Yeah.
They'd be like, well, you're adopted. We found you on the side of the road.
So fucking funny.
It is. So whenever I read that, I was just like, oh, yeah, that seems...
I'm trying to like live in the time, and I do know that it wouldn't be as weird in the time to like be like, now these kids are betrothed, whatever. But like, it's just weird to do in general.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
It's weird to pick out who your kid's going to marry.
Yeah.
Or to have a say in that from, especially at such a young age.
And I understand why you'd be thinking about that because like you're trying to secure a future. Like to you, it feels like security for both of these people.
Yeah.
Because it is important to remember how much more of like a business arrangement marriage was seen as.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think it's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's weird that like we're raising this little girl like she's our own. But she's going to marry our son.
This really, I know people don't like it when I say this, but I'm telling you, legally, when you get married, it's kind of like you're becoming siblings. Like you're kind of the person who would have power of attorney. You're like the next of kin. It's just weird. The whole thing's pretty weird.
Yeah.
Legally.
Oh yeah, legally. So apparently in the original 1818 version of Frankenstein, Elizabeth was the daughter of Alphonse's sister who dies. I guess they didn't want it to be like direct incest, so they changed it. I actually don't know why they changed it. I didn't know. The version I read, they go to Italy and just save this little blonde girl from these brunettes.
That's so fucking interesting.
But Elizabeth and Victor are best friends growing up.
Okay.
And Victor's classmate Henry Clerval is also with them, and they play together and they all hang out, and they're just living in Swiss bliss.
Love it for them.
But as Victor gets a little older, he starts getting a little bit goth with his interest.
Real.
He gets into occult sciences and alchemy. And one day, lightning destroys a tree, and he figures out the workings of electricity and then decides alchemy is not the end-all, be-all. And he's like, I've wasted so much time on alchemy. I got to focus on the sciences. Meanwhile, all of this is happening. Little William is born.
Okay.
That is Victor's little brother. He is representative of innocence. He's described as angelic. He's adorable.
Okay.
And then Victor is going off to college at Ingolstadt.
Okay.
But his mom gets scarlet fever and dies.
Rip.
Elizabeth was caring for her while she was sick. And on Caroline's deathbed, she reminds them, she's like, I really want you two to get married.
Fucking, not to go back to overbearing moms, but I hate this shit.
Yes. So before we go into break, I'll just talk about how, and of course you can talk about it too, the women of this book are all very passive. They're very loving. They're very sacrificial. They're very selfless. They are seen as these like angelic Christ-like figures. They take on all of this stuff for the people around them. And even with like his own parents' relationship, he describes it as like, because, her dad had just died, and it was like this poor girl. I'm going to marry her to help her.
Oh, totally.
But I also wonder with it is if this is what Mary saw as what was expected to be of women. And if she was writing more for herself as Victor and the creature than what she was writing for the women characters.
What I will say is that I expect we will talk a lot about authorial intent, and there will be a lot of crossovers when I bring Twilight to the table.
Okay.
Because I think that it's pretty hard to be a woman in the world or to be from like any kind of marginalized group and write without some lens of that, like internalized misogyny or like what you can see for yourself. I was thinking a lot about how it makes sense to me that the sort of heroes of books written by women in a lot of cases would be men. Like, who do you see as capable of being a hero?
Yeah.
And then you still want to frame them by what you see as like all of these good figures. And maybe she's making a bigger statement, maybe not, but like we write what we know.
To me, I definitely see it as because none of like the two main characters, Victor and the creature, they do not. It's definitely a question of morality the more you get into the story.
Yeah.
And there's not really a who's right and who's wrong. I definitely have some opinions, but nobody's like a perfect hero or a perfect villain.
Right.
The only people that are perfect in this book are the women.
Right.
And they're perfectly like sacrificing themselves in their like wallpaper. Like it's all of these things. It's like I'm striving for Elizabeth, but we don't really know what Elizabeth's doing besides taking care of everybody else and helping with everything. We don't know her.
Yeah.
Like we get their letters to each other. We get some of like what he thinks or what she thinks and what she feels, but it's always at the center with taking care of Victor and Victor's father.
Well, I think that makes me think that it's really important to remember that gender is a social construct and we do have gender roles.
Yeah.
So like, I that really makes me think of like how Ian for 13 often writes women. He writes these like main characters who are women, and he's kind of said, and we know you're listening, Ian, that like part of that is it feels easier to be emotional through that conduit and like have like these really like arcs that are really intense. And I think it definitely makes sense to explore gender as a writer.
Yeah.
Like, I think that makes complete sense. And like, I think it's easy to get sort of focused in on you've created this really weird character. You're exploring a lot through this really weird character. And then these other people in this story are just sort of these kind of basic archetypes you see in your life.
Yeah, I could definitely see it as like, Mary saw that this is what was expected of women, or that some women even could be, and that there was something in her that was not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially, you know, with her like losing a kid and not having her mother in her life, that there's just this, I'm a creature and a creator, and I am this morally, you know, confused being.
It's so fun to imagine what it might be like if she got to explore her gender expression in the modern era.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, really important to remember what that might have looked like for someone in the 1800s.
I think that almost and this is going way out on a limb here, but you know how you've talked about like every romance story goes back to Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah.
I feel like every representation in film and media of a mother and a daughter can go back to Frankenstein.
That makes so much sense to me.
Like Lady Bird, Real Women Have Curves, like all of it's all going back to, as we'll see as we continue with volume 1, this thing that created you that is repulsed by you. And even if it's not so much like you still love them, but you see in a lot of, it's like mother and daughter like coming to terms with, I am everything you were, and I'm possibly everything you didn't get to be, and you are everything that I don't want to be.
I think Frankenstein as an allegory of being a person who has given birth to another person and that kind of relationship is so right.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and maybe not even given birth, but like if you adopt a child and then you have this relationship with them, like raising someone.
Yeah.
Feeling like you are creating them. And then I'm thinking about Christian imagery too, like being created in someone's image.
Yeah.
Like that feels really, really true.
It's more often than not with Frankenstein, it's like God and man is the draw. But what is the more like earthly connection than that between God and man than like mother and child?
There's nothing like taking power away from women and like the things that you suffer through in the world, then creating a deity who is a man and like a pass through so that like giving life means nothing.
Yeah.
Like fucking cool.
Yeah. So with all of that, I think we'll go to our first break and then we will get back to Ingolstadt.
Heck yeah. All right, we're back.
Alrighty, so we are at Ingolstadt.
Okay.
Victor is throwing himself into his studies. He's ignoring his friends and family. He's getting really into anatomy and decomposition.
Sounds like every guy I've ever dated.
Yeah.
Like, it's such, I kept thinking, I'm like, ugh, and this is her fucking betrothed. This poor girl doesn't give a shit about her. He's so, like, single-mindedly focused on whatever he's interested in.
He's single-mindedly focused on whatever he's interested in, but also I really relate to post-death of your mom, you getting really into anatomy and decomposition.
That does make a lot of sense.
Because that's when I really started to like, oh, we're a body.
Yeah.
Because you see so much when somebody's dying.
Yeah.
Of like gross stuff that you have to really come to, especially when you're a caretaker, you have to like come to terms, which Victor was not a caretaker. Again, Elizabeth's baby Elizabeth could have also been studying all of this. Actually, the behind-the-scenes story is Victor is, like, doing all of this stuff to create a person, but he's fucking it up so bad. And then Elizabeth is just, like, quietly coming into town and, like...
I think the behind the scenes, I don't know how it all turns out, but I imagine, like, Elizabeth just successfully does it and no one talks about it because no one knows.
Yeah.
It's like when people are like, there aren't very many female serial killers. I'm like, prove it. Maybe they just didn't get caught.
Damn. But yeah, so Victor's really throwing himself into his studies and really getting into anatomy and decomposition. And then after years of work, so also everybody else is just, which I also unfortunately can relate to, but years of you just throwing yourself into your own, like your own stuff and your own work. And then everybody else is just kind of like waiting for you to come back. Or even if they're not waiting for you to come back, like you come back and you're like, hey.
Well, is he supposed to be like the patriarch of the family now?
Well,
or
no,
his
dad is alive.
Okay, why does anyone care then? He's like a kid at college.
Yeah, he's a kid at college. He just, this is his supposed to be future wife.
Oh, sure.
And he's throwing himself into...
just not talking to her at all. Yeah.
But also it's like, it makes sense because he's going to college. Like he's getting on with his life.
Were they close before he left?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that does really, like, that sucks.
But she never really seems like angry about it.
Well, she can't be.
Yeah.
She's a perfect woman.
But so through years of work, he finds the secret to life and decides to put it all together and animate a creature.
Okay.
He works for months in his apartment building this creature, obsessing and focusing solely on it. And the process itself, because, we see everything, like we see the castle and the like, and it's like lifting the body up and it's like the lightning strike at just this time. But actually in the book, it was like really vague.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's not really, from what I could remember of it, it's not super described. Like, there's not like, this is step 1 on how to bring back somebody from the dead. And this is step 2. But it is described as being a lot of work and being very tiresome.
Yeah.
The creature is like 8 foot tall, stringy dark hair, a yellow eye.
Does it say where does he get body parts?
Yeah.
Where does he just get them from? Like, where does he get them?
I think graveyards.
Okay.
It's also pretty vague on that.
Okay.
In the new movie, it's like, they're like, hey, we just heard that this battle's about to happen. And then they just go to this, like, where a battle had just taken place and start, like, picking out bodies. But Victor brings the creature to life, and immediately he finds it grotesque.
Yeah.
So it has been months and months and months of this work. Years of him imagining this.
Uh-huh.
And then within a moment's notice, he looks at it and is like, I've made a terrible mistake. This is awful.
This is so like a man. I mean, fucking wow.
Its looks scare him so much that he just goes into the other room and tries to sleep. He's like, I can't deal with this.
After reanimating this?
Yeah.
So like this thing, there's a creature who is like existing and he just leaves.
Yeah.
Cool.
He starts having bad dreams about his mom's corpse and Elizabeth. And when he wakes up, the creature that he created in the only thing it knows in this world is him, is standing over his bed smiling and just like,
hey.
And instead of having compassion for what he just created, he becomes disgusted and runs out of the house and just starts walking around town all night to avoid going back home.
I gotta be honest, I don't like him.
Yeah.
I think, like, I would feel less weird if he killed the creature. I feel like this, like, what do you mean you just left? You can't just leave.
And this thing, it only knows you.
And we don't know, like, it was just born. It just became extant. Like in the new movie too, which, I know you can't compare like the book and the movie, but he gets like very hot. Oscar Isaac gets very like disgusted by the fact that the creature like needs to be taught how to live. He's like, ugh. That also, it does kind of feel like a direct representation of what I imagine the experience still often is like for a lot of people who like women who have children and then their husbands just like don't help.
Yeah.
At all. And so this guy's like, I actually think making life would be so cool. What do you think is going to happen? It's just going to know?
It needs to learn.
Like, so in the book, do we refer to the creature as it?
So we refer to the creature as the monster in the book.
Okay.
Referring to it as the creature, I feel like, is more of like a modern thing because a lot of people don't want to call it a monster in that like sense of like monsters are made, not created or whatever. You know, like it's going to like this thing that was born had possible opportunity if Victor would have shown it compassion.
Yeah.
To maybe become human. But then there's also the argument that it's so physically different that it wouldn't have.
Well, I think like, I feel like Monstrilio which is another book that you've brought to the show, was such a great example of what maybe could happen if you did care and love for the creature. And even if, I think the ultimate thing is you don't know what the outcome is, but you can't be tied to that.
Yeah.
If you bring life into this world, your job is to love and care for that life, right? Like that's sort of the idea, because this creature doesn't know anything but you, has no resources except for you. And so like caring for them is your job now.
Yeah.
And then like, he's just like, I have to leave.
He's immediately like, oh my God, I have to leave.
Yeah.
He eventually gets home and he's relieved to find that the creature is not there. Which for me, I would be like, oh my God, where is it?
Well, right. Because I would have it is so clear that this character, and I think we all know people like this, has absolutely does not think outside himself.
Yeah.
He does not think about how this will affect other people, or he would have thought more. Like he would have brought other people into this conversation of, I'm going to make a living being.
And it's also to show a lot how like isolation can really fuck up your morality, because we really do need other people in this world.
Yeah. I think like I would be nothing of myself if not for the people I have been around my whole life.
Yeah.
The people who call you out, who call you on your bullshit, like being trapped on your own, it's not what we're built for.
Yeah. But eventually he gets home. The creature's not there. He's relieved. But after months of work, he's exhausted and he falls ill.
Okay.
So his buddy Henry, who now lives in town for school, nurses him to health.
Okay.
And when he feels better, Henry gives him a letter that Elizabeth had sent. And she begs him to be safe, and she updates him on things going on in Geneva, including the arrival of Justine, who had previously lived with him. So Justine is, like, working in the home now.
Okay.
Before returning to Geneva, because he's like, I need to go back, I need to go see Elizabeth, I need to, like, get this life that I had kind of put on pause back started.
I feel like Mary Shelley was like, I'm tired of reading books about these like men going off to college and having affairs and bastard children, and I want to do something a little bit different.
Let's just mix it up a little bit.
And I love it.
So Victor decides to travel the country with Henry and enjoy the beauties of nature. And this book really gets into detail about nature. Like there's pages upon pages of just describing the scenery.
I like that.
And also, like, Switzerland looks beautiful, so that makes a lot of sense. When they get back to the university, Victor has a letter from his father.
Okay.
In the letter, actually, I'll tell you what the letter says after this break.
Oh, okay.
So you know the story of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Because we all know the story of Frankenstein.
It's funny because you asked me that. I've like read Frankenstein as a play. I've seen productions of Frankenstein. I've seen Young Frankenstein, like all of that. Could not fucking for the life of me tell you what happens in it.
So what would you guess is in his father's letter?
My first guess, not really thinking about it, the creature has found his father.
You're very close.
Okay.
So his dad actually isn't talking about the creature at all, but it is something terrible.
Okay.
William has been murdered. The little boy, his little brother.
Oh, it's like a M of mice and men type. Okay. Okay.
So he gets to Geneva to be with his family. He's walking around town distraught. Because I guess it's like back in the day with towns, like somebody had to like let you in and shit. I guess they had a lot of like I don't know.
Well, I think that probably makes sense because you didn't have any sort of like law enforcement traditionally. Like it's really, we think of our systems and infrastructure as a lot more standard than they were.
Yeah. But so before he could like get into the house, he's like distraught. He's just walking around town and he finds the area where his little brother was murdered.
Okay.
And he's looking at that area. And while he's there, he sees the creature lurking.
Uh-huh.
And he's immediately convinced. He's like, fuck, the creature killed my little brother. However, he gets home and he learns that Justine, the person who worked in the house, the woman who had lived with him like as a kid and was now working in the house, has been accused of the murder because she was found with a small picture of Caroline that William carried around with him.
Is that their mom?
Yeah.
So, like, her having the picture is why they think she murdered him?
Yes.
He's a fucking little kid. He could have dropped it on the floor.
Yeah. This is like there's like a John Mulaney bit about it where, like, you used to be able to rob banks and unless you were, like, still there at the time, like, you got by with it.
I mean, basically until forensic evidence happened. And even then, it's a fucking nightmare because we leaned so hard into forensics because this was law that we were just like, I think whatever this alleged specialist says is true. And so we just kept putting people in jail based on nothing. But then again, I guess also this is nothing.
Yes. So she talks to Elizabeth and Victor, Justine does, and she's like, I would never do that.
Yeah.
You know, she's distraught. She's like, I would never hurt that little boy. I forget exactly how she had the picture, but it's one of those things. She just like found the picture.
Yeah.
But somebody else was like, she has the picture, so she must have killed the little boy. And he'd been like choked out.
I mean, to be clear, also like due process. I'm not saying it wasn't her.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's not a good enough reason to decide it's her.
So I think we'll go into the short Patreon section to finish this up. And then we'll come back out, talk about it a little bit. And then next episode, we'll get into volume 2. In the end of this episode that we'll discuss on Patreon, we'll tell you why I think volume 2 is so interesting. Okay.
Well, so before we get into the Patreon section, you may have noticed that Bridgett and I are wearing these really ugly hats.
Yes.
They're just like tan baseball caps. They were $2 at Walmart. If you're not watching the video, that's what's going on. Bridgett and I have been wearing hats, and we had this idea that it would be really great if we just kind of kept wearing more and more ridiculous hats. So I wanted to get us a base. You're seeing the base, and I'd love some suggestions on what we should put on these hats.
Everything should reflect a book.
Oh, I love that. So you need to maybe give us a suggestion for what you think an item for, like graduation caps, like what an item for Frankenstein should be. And also, we would love to hear from you. So if you have any opinions on Frankenstein, whether or not it's a book about being a woman or a book about mother-daughter relationships, you should call in and tell us about them. And you can also text our number, which I haven't said. I know y'all are shy. I know you're like not sure if you want to call in. And you can definitely call and say, please don't play this. But otherwise, we'll assume you're okay with playing the voicemail on the show, which we might do. You can also text the number. You can also email us. But the phone number is 413-GET-EDGY or 413-438-3349. Tell us about stuff. We also changed our voicemail, so it's both of us. So if you've tried to call before and been like, I don't know if this is right, we're doing our best.
And yeah, definitely text us and tell us if you're cool with the text being read. Like if you don't want it read, just be like, don't tell anybody this.
Yeah, we're going to assume you're okay with it unless you say. But if you say.
Send us your secrets.
Yeah, tell us your secrets.
Anyways.
Let's go into the patron section.
Yep.
I'll go down for the murder.
Yeah.
I feel how exhausting she knew this was about to be, and I really get it. He's such an idiot, dumb piece of shit. I hate him so much. What a loser. just like Elon Musk. Have you seen grass? Would be false.
Crazy.
I am like on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Welcome, public.
Hello, Publix. So, Volume 2, The Creature Story.
I cannot wait. I am so excited.
So good. And this is the part that I feel like if you only know of Frankenstein through, I mean, if you've watched the new movie, you get this. Mm-hmm. But if you only know Frankenstein like just through media, kind of second, third, fourth hand, you don't know this story. And it is gut-wrenching. Obviously.
I mean, it would have to be. I am so excited to learn about the creature. And if I was editing this manuscript, like if Mary Shelley was my girlie and she was like, I wrote a book, like, will you check it out? I would have been getting up to this point and I would have been like, I want the creature to just like fucking mic drop on this guy so bad. And then it happens and I feel so satisfied.
That's what he does. He's about to mic drop, and that'll be possibly our next episode, if not another one really soon.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited.
That is Frankenstein, the first volume.
Well, if y'all have any opinions about what we've talked about so far in Frankenstein, or any opinions about what we should put on our hats, you should give us a call or a text at 413-GET-EDGY. That's 413-438-3349. We'd also love to hear any ideas for books you think we should read. Are there any classic characters that you want to hear our analysis on?
Or, this is a big jump, if you think you're brave enough to come on the show and tell us a story about a book you're reading.
Yeah. Send us a voicemail. That'll be your audition.
Yeah.
And we can go from there.
Yeah, because we need to hear more stories than just what we have to conjure up.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what y'all are finding out in the world.
Yeah. There's so many books.
There's so many stories.
Time.
And we're here to tell some of them kind of secondhand.
Yeah. So we love y'all.
We love you. We'll talk to you soon.